The Federal Communications Commission approved Friday AT&T's $49 billion acquisition of DirecTV. Brian Fung wrote about the story for The Washington Post and joins us now. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on. Always glad to have you on. Now, what are the major assets the merger brings to AT&T?
Well, the big thing is content. So AT&T is acquiring all of the television programming that DirecTV streams to its customers. And the reason why AT&T wants to do this is it realizes now that just being a dumb pipe operator is not going to cut it in the 21st century. The big thing moving forward is to find new ways, new revenue streams, and that means providing some kind of value-added content, some kind of exclusive content, which DirecTV has.
And so dumb pipes, I mean, we've been hearing a lot about that. When we were growing up, we just thought, oh, they're phone companies. But, you know, what's really been the big transition in this industry?
Well, I think, you know, you're seeing that with the FCC moving forward with policies like net neutrality, they've, you know, increased the basic definition of broadband. That's making it a little bit harder for internet providers to simply make money off of the networks that they're operating, and they've certainly complained as much before the FCC. And so, you know, it's not just AT&T. You also have companies like Verizon buying AOL, and they've gone on the record saying that their new streaming video app is also going to include content from AOL. You know, you have NBCU being bought up by Comcast back in 2011. They were, in some ways, the sort of original pioneers of this model, where you're a cable operator and an internet provider, and you buy up a whole lot of content that you can then offer to consumers, to your subscribers for either an extra fee, or you bundle it somehow with your existing packages and make money that way. So this is something that, you know, analysts say is going to be the future for communications and media.
Enough about AT&T. Let's talk about me. I'm an existing AT&T subscriber. Will I get any major benefits around this? For example, NFL Sunday ticket. Will I get that on my smartphone, on my iPhone now?
Yeah, so AT&T's big plan here is to send the content that DirecTV has, such as NFL Sunday Ticket, to mobile devices. So at some point you'll be able to leave your house, probably use your mobile phone on AT&T's 3G or 4G network and watch live sports that way. There's going to be all sorts of other content that you'll be able to access too. And by the way, this won't just be an AT&T thing. Again, with Verizon said to be coming out with its streaming video app by late summer, it's going to be pretty likely that Verizon customers will also get some of the same experiences, watching streaming videos on their tablets or their mobile phones while they're not connected to Wi-Fi.
And Brian, a quick follow-up. Now, this deal came with some requirements on AT&T's part. Can you talk about what those requirements are? I mean, one of them is that they have to build out fiber. Another is that they have to expand their reach to certain demographics. Can you talk a little bit about those requirements?
Absolutely, yeah. So the first one you mentioned is really important. The AT&T deal actually requires AT&T to build high-speed fiber optic internet to 12.5 million what they call end connections. And if AT&T fails to meet that goal by the end of 4 years, all of the conditions that it's agreed to, not just that one, will be extended until AT&T finishes its build-out. So that's really important. The other one, I think, which is going to be really relevant to people, is that AT&T has agreed to build or agreed to offer free or discounted, some kind of low-cost internet plan to people who are on food stamps. So, if you, for example, are a food stamp recipient and you live in a part of the country that is served by AT&T, you'll be able to buy, for about $10 a month, a plan that gives you access to either 10 megabits of speed per second or something slightly lower for a lesser price. So AT&T is making a commitment to offer that low-cost internet, again, for 4 years, and with the possibility of extensions if it hasn't completed its fiber optic build-out by then. And there are a number of other conditions as well that some of which will affect consumers, and others are going to be mainly about transparency and reporting and that kind of thing.
Now, you wrote a completely unrelated story about Facebook. Now, we've talked about Facebook's Internet.org and how they subsidize data connections in the developing world, essentially enabling people to log onto Facebook and a bunch of other sites for free. It was controversial in India because it was seen as a net neutrality violation. And you wrote a story about how Facebook is expanding that. Can you talk briefly about that particular event?
Yeah, so Facebook is coming up on its one-year anniversary for Internet.org, which is the project that Facebook launched with a number of other partners to try and get more of the world connected to the Internet and then, by extension, connected to Facebook. And so as part of its one-year anniversary, Facebook and Internet.org have announced that they're expanding their program so that now any mobile network provider can work with Facebook and Internet.org to offer services, free services to low-income residents of foreign countries, developing countries. The key difference here is that before, Internet.org was working with roughly 12 carriers in about 17 countries. Now, any network provider who's interested in working with Internet.org can sign up for more information and possibly strike a partnership with the initiative. And this, according to Facebook, should give a lot more people access to the web. But again, it's also important, as you say, to point out here that there are still lingering questions about whether or not the offering of free services potentially violates net neutrality.